Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new episode of Africa Today, where we get you the latest news and events taking place on the African scene. And we will start off with our major top stories and reports. Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry has to Nizhny Novgorod city in Russia to participate in the BRICS Foreign Ministers meeting. Foreign Ministry spokesman Ambassador Ahmed Abu Zaid said that Shoukry is due to deliver 2 speeches during 2 meetings. He added that Foreign Minister Shoukry will also hold a number of bilateral meetings with foreign ministers of the countries participating in the meeting, exchange points of views on international and regional issues, topping of which is the war in Gaza Strip, as well as efforts to ensure the access of the humanitarian aid to the Strip. An agreement was signed by the Korean International Cooperation Agency and the Egyptian Agency of Partnership for Development to establish a strategic partnership to promote sustainable development in African countries. This came on the sidelines of the Korea-Africa 2024 summit.
The Korea International Cooperation Agency (KOICA) and the Egyptian Agency of Partnership for Development (EAPD) have signed a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) to establish a strategic partnership on triangular cooperation to promote sustainable development in African countries. The agreement was signed on the 5th of June in Seoul, Korea, during the Korea-Africa Future Partnership Conference hosted by KOICA as a sideline event of the 2024 Korea-Africa Summit. The partnership under the 5-year MOU will leverage the technical expertise, best practices and resources of both South Korea and Egypt to build the capacity of African officials in critical sectors like agriculture, irrigation and health care. This came in a statement by KOICA President Won Sam-chang. Moreover, the Egyptian ambassador to Korea, Khalid Hassan Abdulrahman, emphasized Egypt's technical prowess in areas like agriculture, ICT and health. He said KOICA will be a key partner in Egypt's efforts to expand regional cooperation in Africa. He also said the MOU serves as a strategic alliance between the 2 development agencies, pooling their resources and expertise to drive sustainable socio-economic progress in Africa. KOICA, a Korean government agency under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, implements grant aid programs aiming to combat poverty and support sustainable socio-economic growth in developing countries.
And we're joined over the phone by Ambassador Shalaby, former assistant to the Foreign Minister. Good afternoon, Ambassador Shalaby.
Good afternoon.
Ambassador Shalaby, how do you see the timing of the BRICS meeting of foreign ministers in Russia amid the mounting challenges?
Well, the BRICS summit is hosted by Moscow because, as you know, that it is a rotating presidency, and Russia took the presidency of BRICS 2024. That is why it is important that that the summit takes place in Moscow, and of course, amid all the challenges that are happening in the world, whether it is the war in Ukraine or the war over Gaza. So it is important that the leaders discuss these challenges and take a step further. These is in agreement that are happening in Ukraine and Gaza.
Great. How can the BRICS bloc intervene to continue strives like the war in Gaza and in Ukraine?
Well, one of the main aims of the BRICS is to ensure the security and to counter terrorism. And it is important in order to boost the trade and to boost the investment between the members of BRICS, to have, of course, stability and to have security in the region, especially when they are trading among countries in the east and countries in the west, like, for instance, between China, between Russia, between Brazil, and all the South Africa, all the countries that are members. There are other members in Africa and Saudi Arabia, Iran, and United Arab Republic. All these, the Emirates also. So in order to have to secure the trade between these countries, members of BRICS, there has to be stability and security. That is why the summit is going to discuss how can they provide regional stability for the trade in the two seas, the Mediterranean and the Red Sea, which is always the main route of trade between East and West.
Great. A grouping already home to some 40% of the world's population and a quarter of global GDP. How would you describe the importance of introducing a new world bloc like the BRICS?
As you know, there are important issues that have been discussed between the members of BRICS before, and it was mainly made in order to get away with the use of the U.S. dollar, because, as you know, the U.S. dollar had been used for all the commodities, and all the global market has been depending on the U.S. dollar. That is why the BRICS countries were aspiring to create an alternative currency for global trade. And of course, for oil also, it is important to have another financial currency to use as an alternative. That is why Egypt could benefit also from this, because other countries could use, for instance, the ruble or the rupee or the Chinese yen or the Japanese, whatever other currency could be used, could be a potential for increase in trade and in trade and in the market of commodities.
Ambassador Shalaby, how would the Egyptian economy benefit from joining the BRICS?
Yes, of course. One of the benefits is, of course, using our currency, the Egyptian pound. The other also benefit is attracting more investment, whether it is from the BRICS countries or in the route to reach the BRICS countries, the members. So Egypt became member of the new bank, which was created by the BRICS members, which is the New Development Bank, NDB. And this will open doors for new investments, new partners, whether they are the members or non-members. Also, Egypt is looking forward to boost the mutual trade between BRICS members, especially Russia and China and India, who have developing economy, and Egypt could expand its exports to these countries and capitalize on the common market of the South, the Mercosur, which Egypt can become a hub connecting Africa, Asia, and South America. Also, Egypt is going to benefit from the strategic commodities because Egypt has been importing wheat and rice, and if there is an agreement for strategic commodities, then Egypt could benefit by paying with the Egyptian pounds the strategic commodities and import wheat in the next fiscal year, and it will of course economize on the use of US dollars.
Great. Analysts say the bloc has at times suffered from internal divisions and a lack of coherent vision. Now, how do you see the future of the bloc?
Well, of course, every economic integration takes time until it is feasible. So it is a very good opportunity to start, and at the same time to solve the problems that are initiated by this integration. So it is very important that each country seeks to, who is part of the bloc, is to try to solve the problem, provide trade facilities, provide routes and to manage the ports and the routes of trade so that the commodities can pass from one country to another, from one region to another without problems. So of course to provide regional security that could benefit the BRICS countries, and of course each country has economic challenges, so it is important that the strength of the economic of the internal economy it makes it important to become a member of the regional integration.
Ambassador Soad Shalaby, former assistant to the foreign minister, many thanks for your insight. And dear viewers, now we move on to South Africa, and South African President Cyril Ramaphosa is involved in key party meetings to form a new government. This came after the party lost its 30-year grip on power and left a post-election deadlock.
Somalia will take a seat at the United Nations Security Council for the first time in 53 years after it was elected alongside 4 other nations to the top organ on Thursday. The Horn of Africa nation last served in the Council in 1972. Besides Somalia, the UN General Assembly also elected Denmark, Greece, Pakistan and Panama to the Council. The 5 will serve as non-permanent members for 2 years starting January 1, 2025. The 5 will replace Ecuador, Japan, Malta, Mozambique and Switzerland, whose terms end on December 31, 2024. The new members will join existing non-permanent members Algeria, Guyana, the Republic of Korea, Sierra Leone and Slovenia, whose terms started on January 1, 2024. Somalia President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud warmly welcomed his country's election as a member of the Security Council, noting that the move points to the progress the nation has achieved in development and governance. Other leaders from the Horn of Africa nation also conveyed congratulatory messages.
And that was a report on Somalia taking a seat at the UN Security Council for the first time in 53 years. And now we move on to South African President Cyril Ramaphosa involved in key party meetings. More details.
South African President Cyril Ramaphosa met with senior officials of the African National Congress on Thursday to decide how to go about forming a government after the party lost its 30-year grip on power and left a post-election deadlock. The party's National Executive Committee was meeting in Johannesburg to work through a split within the party's ranks over which direction to take. ANC lost its long-held majority in last week's vote, but remained the biggest party and now needs some form of agreement with others to run Africa's most industrialized country. ANC has indicated its leaning toward a government of national unity that would bring together many of the political parties in a broad agreement, rather than a direct coalition with the main opposition. That is the Democratic Alliance, or DA. ANC is the party that was once led by Nelson Mandela and freed South Africa from the apartheid system of white minority rule by winning the country's historic first all-race vote in 1994. It had seen a gradual decline in its support over the last 20 years as South Africa struggles with high levels of poverty, unemployment and inequality. The National Executive Committee, that includes more than 80 of the ANC's top officials, is expected to be the body to decide on which direction it will take. There is no guarantee that all the other parties will accept the idea of a government of national unity, even as South Africa's political leaders are under some time pressure to decide on the way forward, as the newly elected parliament must sit for the first time by June 16, with one of its first priorities to elect a president.
And dear viewers, that wraps up this edition of Africa Today. Many thanks for watching and stay tuned for more coming up here on Nile TV International.